Okay, good morning. It is time for daily game design. Wow, this has got to be, let's see, the 11th of December. I think I started. Here's the problem. I actually don't think I have any great way of knowing when I started. But I'm pretty sure it was late June, mid to late June. So I'm coming up on what, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. This is like 6 months almost of consistent streaming. It's been really awesome. Anyway, some cool stuff going on. Yesterday, I paddled for the first time in an outrigger canoe and had a great time. Very sweet people. It's a group. We met on Sand Island, and yeah, just great being out on the water. It was my first time trying to um, get a particular type of stroke figured out. They're doing stuff, so it's like a team sport in this case, and I think we had five in the canoe. So I showed up around 5. We moved the boats. Actually, no, I kind of talked to a couple of the ladies there. It's interesting because they race. It's this group, kind of older people. I think most people are in their 50s and 60s, and so they race, but at the same time, they're pretty casual. Actually, the friend of mine who introduced me to them would prefer something a little more intense, I guess. But oh, don't mess with me! Don't mess with me this early. What's going on here? Okay, I think I may just soldier on in this case. I've got quite a bit to do, and it does unfortunately look unstable if I lose the connection. What? Francisco on Facebook today. Interesting. I very rarely check because I only have space for two windows over here. I almost never check Facebook. Yeah, thanks for checking. I don't know what's going on. You know what? It could be the weather. It's actually raining right now. So, yeah, it's an unfortunate reality. Looks like, yeah, that was awesome. A fun little Facebook treat. Yeah, I think it might just not be good today. I'm just gonna have to cruise, soldier on. Yeah, unfortunate. Yeah, bad internet weather. Isn't that funny? Hey guys. Well, I may just end up talking to myself here, but that's how I started, and that's what that was the main thing, is just getting my thoughts out. So, anyway, glad you guys can join. Oh, I hope this holds up. So, signed a little waiver. You know, they got the boats down in the water. They did. This lady Shannon did a little lesson for the stroke. What was helpful is I actually watched a couple of videos beforehand, and this is on Saturday when I wasn't sure if I was going to paddle or not. Um, it really is unfortunate because Saturday is my church day, and that's when they do their long paddles. So that's not going to work out. But yeah, very very nice people. So we got in the water, and I've done a lot in boats, and I've done a lot of paddling, but not that type of paddling. So it was really like even, you know, like for fun, for example, like canoe races, like kind of traditional style Native American canoe races. You know, we did a lot of that growing up, where we'd go on canoe trips, or um, actually, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Let me see if this works. But I have this scar on my finger, and it is meaningful for a couple reasons. Yeah, I think you can see it. Fun little scar, but it is uh I'll just describe it. It looks like, kind of, it has a thick jagged edge, and then there are kind of these um almost looks like the skin was raked. So there's one long thick scar, and then there are three or four small ones sort of growing from the top of it, growing up from the thicker one until almost like the shape of a little harp or something like that. So that was the summer of 1996, and the reason I remember that is because that's the summer when Atlanta hosted the Olympics. And what I've always said is that this looks like the Olympic torch. Actually, now I want to see if you can actually see it that way. So there's the that long, thicker side thing, and then the smaller, kind of almost like tines of a fork. So rolling razor edge D6. That would be intense. Actually, it is from a canoe trip. We were, yeah, paddling a river in New York, and it was me and my dad and my sister. My mom was working over the weekend. She's a nurse. And we joined a bunch of people in Pathfinders, so basically our church's version of the Scouts. And I was preparing some firewood, had a little brand new handsaw that I was borrowing from a friend, and I was sawing really hard, and then the blade bounced out of the wood, raked my finger, and the saw, brand new, was so sharp that I didn't even really feel it. But I did see, I saw the blood, ran to my dad, we got it bandaged up. But that basically turned into me doing very little paddling for the next day and a half, or however long we had. So we were just camping. I think that was the first night we were camping out on the side of the river. Well, anyway, that was all to illustrate that I grew up paddling. I grew up doing things like this on the water. So it felt very natural to get in the boat, to watch the person paddling in front of me, to get the timing, to internalize like the shape of the body, some of the goals for what the blade was supposed to look like, feel like, sound like in the water. And I have to say, it's these little things, these little technicalities, whether it is in language or with the body, like these little technical details. For some reason, I love that stuff. I love having these little goals to work toward, little, almost like little challenges. Like, how can you be most efficient with your body? How can you get the most power with the least amount of effort? Like, these are really fun things. How can you, as a team, build up the most speed and make the best turns? Like, those kinds of goals to me are really fun to work toward. And I love the reps. I love, like, just getting the feel for what's going on. And anyway, had a really fun time. We were in the water not that long, maybe 45 minutes. They're short evenings because the sun is going down pretty early. So anyway, and then I was a little concerned because I don't know, because I'd never done it before and I hadn't done those movements in a while. I wasn't sure how that was going to affect my neck and shoulders. And actually, I feel really good today. Like, the neck is a little bit stiff, but I think it could have been a lot worse. So anyway, I was just excited that worked out. My core felt like it was shocked, like I fell from a height. It was kind of like I had these like internal little muscles and stuff that just They were like, what is happening? My spine, I felt like I pulled a little something deep in my back, but it wasn't horrible and it feels fine today. So that was that was cool. Well, I did something last night I haven't done in a while. And perhaps this is the word of the day for somebody, but I went into this was my first time in lucubration mode. So lucubration for a long time. I think it's such a fun sounding word, lucubration. And pretty much what it means or how it can be used is representing work done at night. So maybe some of you, I feel like you know, folks who work on the kinds of things we work on are probably used to this, where it's just easy to be a night owl. It's easy to just pump out work that you're excited about and stay up and keep working on it indefinitely. So this was the first time since switching up my sleep schedule that I've really done this, or at least in the same, like, screw it, I'll just keep going, in that same kind of attitude. It's the first time I've done that in a long while, so probably 6 months or so. Anyway, I stayed up till about 1, and I'll share this with you. I was working on a little preview video, and I'll tell you my style when it comes to these little videos. I don't like a script, because my aim is to be around 3 minutes with these little game previews. I really push myself to internalize the script, and if I'm going over time, like, find ways to cut, but just do as many takes as it takes to get something that works. So it's not perfect, but I feel like it's a little more natural this way. I mean, I think a script and outline would work well. I also thought, you know what else I could do is I could just, oh, interesting, you'd rather wake up at 4:30 to work. I don't know what it is. My whole adult life, it's just been way easier to stay up and work on stuff until 2 or 3 in the morning or something. Well, so I think last night I stayed up till about 1, which is not crazy. It used to be very routine for me to be up until 2 or 2:30. But anyway, yeah, my process is generally unscripted. I know I have the outline in my head, and I really want something pretty natural sounding, pretty organic. I was also tempted to, like, remove my face. That'd be a lot easier. That would be, you know, that's what would allow for more I would be more comfortable having a script if the people couldn't see me reading. For some reason, I don't like it if somebody can tell that I'm reading off a script. Yeah, I get that. We're all made different. Yeah. So, well, here's this little preview video. This is of the long winter's nap. What I realized too is that there's stuff I leave out I probably shouldn't have, but I was just in this mode. It was getting late. I was already probably 30 takes in. I know that's ridiculous, but I'll share this with you. Let me make sure the sound is turned up. And actually, hang on. So, long winter's nap. You'll see. Well, you'll have the introduction here. It's the couple of details I feel like I'm missing are that it's a 2 to 5 player game, plays in about 20 minutes, something like that. Hey, it's Scott with Tabletop Games, and I'm going to be sharing Long Winter's Nap with you. This is a deceptively cute and I think surprisingly tense little bidding and actually let me Hey, it's Scott with Tabletop Games, and I'm going to be sharing Long Winter's Nap with you. Hey, it's Scott with Tabletop Games, and I'm going to be sharing Long Winter's... Weird. It wasn't freezing before. Okay, let's try this again.
Hey, it's Scott with Tabletop Games, and I'm going to be sharing Long Winter's Nap with you. This is a deceptively cute and I think surprisingly tense little bidding and push your luck game. I'm happy to share it with you. Players are meant to be little mice fattening themselves up for a long winter. There are mice that hibernate. I was excited to learn that. But in this game, there are sources of tension that I'm excited about, and I'm going to describe two of them for you. The first is that the currency players use to bid on victory points is the same currency they're going to use to protect their victory points. Well, how does that work? The game proceeds in two phases. There's the autumn phase, where players are gathering victory points. Those points are represented on these cards here. So players are going to be bidding around the table, and then the highest bidder is going to earn the largest number on the card, and then the next bidder, second largest, that kind of thing. But at some point, and these decks, there are two decks in the game, the autumn deck, the winter deck, they're randomized, they're set up in such a way that every game is going to be different. At some point toward the bottom of the deck, the winter arrives card is revealed. At that point, gathering victory points is over, and we transition to the winter phase. Now in the winter phase, there is a row of 5 cards. At some point in the back 4 cards is the spring arrives card. This is randomized. So players don't necessarily know when spring is going to arrive. Until it does, if we're flipping these winter cards, players are going to be discarding the same currency that they use to get victory points. They're discarding those cubes. Otherwise, if they run out of those cubes, they're going to be hemorrhaging victory points. I mean, notice if it's a harsh winter, you could either spend 2 green cubes or 5 discs, 5 victory point tokens. That's pretty wild. So I think that's a really fun problem. Are you going to bid aggressively, get a bunch of victory points, and then just hope spring arrives early? Or are you going to be a little more conservative, retain a bunch of your cubes, and then plan to last through a long winter? I think it's a really fun problem. Well, here's the other source of tension I think is really great, and it has to do with winter. And it has to do with the uncertainty of winter. Well, players can deal with that. And notice on these 2 lowest victory point cards, there's this little eye symbol. What that means is the player who bids the highest on these cards actually has the ability to foretell winter, to peek at one of the 5 winter cards. I'm excited about that because it introduces this problem. Either players are bidding on the low victory point cards to gain some certainty, some knowledge, or they're bidding on the high value cards to get a bunch of victory points and then just basically hope for the best. Anyway, I think that's a really, really fun problem. There are other opportunities in this game that I'll save for a later conversation, including, I think, the bidding system I think is really interesting. And then, of course, there are these little hurry and scurry cards. But if you have any more questions, would love to chat with you. Thanks so much for your time. This is Long Winter's Nap. I look forward to hearing from you. Bye-bye for now.
Okay, so that was my little preview video. You notice that I did not spend any time. Well, thanks for that, Seth. I really didn't spend much time talking about how the game operates. Those things came up as I went. You can see that, but this was, yeah, I'm trying to learn these lessons and really this is actually, I sent, I don't remember if there must have been a little preview video and a sell sheet I sent to AEG early this year, like January of this year. And I got an email back from the CEO. And I thought that was really cool that this person, would spend time sending an email to me. And I think he probably has something kind of prepared, a list of things that he's looking for in these preview videos. And one of them, it really has to do with like highlighting the fun. I know for sure I posted this in the Discord. So now what I really try to do is I try to spend less time describing how the game actually works and more time where the fun is, where the tension is. You can see I just literally just spent the whole time. I never even really set up the game. And that might be a problem on some level, because I realized after, and I think this is the version I'm going to send. I could probably do another 20 takes just to get it just right. But I never actually showed that the cards are going to be stacked. That I did describe that there are going to be decks, 2 decks, and I think, hopefully the person I'm sending this to, the reason I'm sending it is I'm sending it to Paul, the person I've been dialoguing with about doing some rule writing and editing for them. This is with Gamehead. Yeah, he asked for a preview video of this one. So yeah, so I made this little video with the intention of trying to highlight the tension, the where the difficult decisions are. I think you might have something there, Francisco. I think a mouse costume actually would add some good flavor. I love it. I dread the idea of 15 takes in a mouse costume, but it's a brilliant idea. Well, okay, so I could just send that to him. That's all he asked for. And at the same time, I thought, I probably should fill in a few of the blanks with a cell sheet. So he didn't ask for it, but I think I'm gonna fill out an email. All the best ideas. That's actually a really good idea. It honestly is. If I had a mouse costume, guaranteed I would have worn it. So it's a really good idea. By the way, what'd you decide about the retreat? I'm gonna go 15 minutes here. I haven't rewritten any of this. So I was gonna, I'll just spend some time on this. I actually am not even sure what I want to do for, to like show the components and stuff. But yeah, we'll see. Gotcha. Send him a message. Okay, cell sheet. So some things that I learned recently from the cell sheet world. I know there are several ways to do this. I'm just going to highlight the way that I think was really interesting and effective. And there are basically 2 patterns for at least Western readers that come from Western cultures. This, I think, is the idea. And that is, you either read in an F shape or a Z shape. And this is obviously Sugar Shack, my cell sheet for Sugar Shack. I think it does a fine job. It may look a little busy. It may look very busy. I'm not too sure what your eyes see. But this is the Z shape. So scanning across the top, hitting important information in the corner, and then moving down, like this corner kind of hands off to this section here, and then this section hands off to these 4 points, which then end in the 5th point in the bottom right hand corner. So the Z shape. Do you prefer a Z shape, Francisco? The other shape that readers will rely on is an F shape. So it's F or Z. So you could read across the top, drop down, read through the middle, and then drop down on the left side. I think that's... Anyway, I don't know if that really holds or not. I think it's a cool idea. And at least it's a little bit of a fill-in-the-blank type pattern, which I appreciate. It just kind of gave me something to work toward, rather than having no reason for doing things. I think it's nice to have a reason for doing things. And for some reason, this made a lot of sense to me. So that's what just try to put important information along that Z pattern. So I think I'll do something similar for Long Winter's Nap. You can see that I do use these same, I pretty much have a template. I prefer, actually I don't know what I prefer. I actually don't know what I prefer, but I typically design F without having realized it. Got it. Yeah, it looks like I had the Z going for a while. This one, I think what I did was, you can see I actually had less information. I didn't have a hook on this one. So I just put some important things up here. I figured that at that time, I was just thinking people just they're willing to look around for important information. And I'll try to highlight that info. Like, there's nothing really to see up here, not super, super important, although a little eye-catching. And then they'll hit this premise, they'll read it, and then they can drift down through the middle and see these numbers, and then maybe... But there's no... It makes sense to me that the eye doesn't really know what to do here. The eye doesn't really know what to do. This one is kind of like swing down around the bottom, and then maybe end up here in the middle again. And here I feel like it's like really like splash at the top. These different colors with the hook, big bold hook, and then cruising down this way along this this angle. I feel, I don't know, maybe I've talked myself into thinking this makes sense. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I yeah, I don't mind it. I don't know how much reading people actually do on these things anyway, to be honest. But I'm thinking to do something similar here. I just need to figure out how much... I think I have the... Yeah, I have the cards here. So I'll drop a few cards in for sure. We'll need some... We'll need winter cards, and we'll need... okay, the spring arrives. I suppose I could actually lay out the game. There's nothing keeping me from doing that, I guess. The winter deck here. Oh, and this is the... Yeah, that might be fine. This was kind of a cute little thing that occurred to me yesterday. So I had these market cards, and at least they were originally market cards. This game, I rethemed it recently. It was based on the parable of the 10 bridesmaids that are waiting for the wedding party, and then it is delayed, and so that everybody falls asleep. And so instead of winter, it was nighttime, and so you waited. In the first half of the game, you were kind of doing these good deeds that were going to require oil. So the thing is, you were spending oil to help people out while you waited for the wedding party. But every now and then you could like top up with oil by going to the market. In this case, and what all that means is the stuff that you've been bidding on. So if I'm using these green cubes to bid on victory points, you do have opportunities in the deck to reconvert the victory points back into the bidding cubes. So you have that option. So those two things are in the deck somewhere. So there were markets before, and then I just thought, well, what about something? I mean, is it possible to get slightly more thematic with it? And instead, it's almost like these little mice go into high gear and they start to run around, and I don't think it makes any real thematic sense, but a market made less thematic sense. So I just settled on this idea that potentially twice in the deck, then the mice get a little more frantic and they spend they fuel up with the stuff they've been collecting and then turn that back into energy or something. And the theme absolutely breaks down. It certainly doesn't hold up, but I thought it's closer to have these two little hurry and scurry cards. I thought that was cute. Okay, I don't love these colors. I think it'd be nice. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what to do here. Because I can imagine showing autumn and winter almost in like separate areas on the cell sheet, and doing like autumn colors, and then winter colors, something like that. Yeah. Why don't I get some music going? So, Francisco, do you have a way of knowing which YouTube channels are whatever they are, like not copyrighted? Is it just that they say it? Or do I have to... Can I just use any of these lo-fi channels? Because I think it'd be nice to do Christmas lo-fi. Royalty free or not copyrighted or whatever it is. Yeah. Let me see. How to tell if music is copyrighted on YouTube. Check the video description for licensing info. Use the Creator Music tool in YouTube Studio, or upload your video as a private online. To check if a song is copyrighted on YouTube, simply upload. I don't know if audio is copyrighted. I assume unless you created it, licensed it, or it's a free service. I wonder.
The opposite of any work platform we tried in the past. We tried other work management platforms, not naming names. They all suck.
Okay, so this probably is not good. But I wonder where it says it. I wonder if it says it somewhere. Copyright. Oh. No copyright. No copyright lo-fi Christmas. Get them. I think we decided that about half volume of the voice was pretty good. I don't know. Cool. Okay, I like the idea of having autumn and winter contrasting. I think, yeah. Okay, let me explore that idea. Because I kind of did a color scheme for Sugar Shack. You can see originally I had this cooler color scheme. Like light blues, grayish blues. I basically just matched whatever this cabin was. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I know the connection lost the connect. I'm gonna refresh too. Yeah, that's interesting. I just refreshed and it looks pretty solid right now. It's the weather, like Seth said. Okay, so if I do this, I think I could get rid of, or like move, actually let me copy. I already have a copy, that works fine. So I'm gonna get rid of this stuff. You could look at some of these color schemes. Oh, cool. By the way, welcome everyone on Twitch. This is, yeah, I don't know. I'm still not used to, yeah, except for my consistent friends here, Francisco, Seth. I guess we haven't seen Mike in a while, but always happy to chat. Let's see. Yeah, this is cool. I guess you could probably just lift. Is this? I like these down here. I like this for fall. What would winter be? These ones? How did you find this, or what does this mean? Oh, you just searched. Let's try autumn first then.
This season, bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to a Verizon store for a better deal. Then use those unwanted bills to wrap up goodbye gifts to AT&T, or cut them into
These make sense to me. I like this, or I like this.
Just bring in your bill to your local Verizon.
Well, let's just see. Yeah, let me see what a layout would look like.
Requires postpaid consumer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days and same name as person redeeming deal. Additional terms apply.
Okay, I'm gonna add a little outline. Round the corners. Let's round the corners just a little bit. Okay, like that. Okay, so now we have. The problem is I want to show cards. I need to dip out for a bit, run errands, but we'll leave a lurk. Okay, cool. Thanks, Francisco. Have a good one. Shrink these a little bit, I think. Long winter's nap. Is a quick bidding and push your luck game. I'm gonna switch it to auction because that's the terminology that Paul prefers. So also, what did I do for Sugar Shack? I don't really need premise, I guess. But I think what's nice is to catch the eye right here. Right, hit him with some bold right there. Let's go up to 14. I guess I could also do the components list like I did over here with Sugar Shack. Cards. I think I need to open Tabletop Simulator to see the whole game. It's nice because it is pretty component light. I think there are 8 winter cards, or cards in the winter deck, possible in the winter deck, and then 12 cards for the autumn deck. And then every player needs, let's say, 15 cubes, or up to 15 cubes. Yeah, so 2 there, 10 there, so 12. So 8 cards, and then 20 cards, and maybe just say something like 22 cards for, like, including player aids or some maybe a little bit of expansion material. That Berserk game so goes really hard. It doesn't fit any game I've ever seen played on TTS. I know. There are a bunch of things about TTS that I just feel like it'd be nice if they updated, including whatever that first image is. Yeah, or like that little animation thing at the start. It's very odd. The main thing I really don't like is the way that they do text. It's very irritating to me. Oh, the other thing was yeah, I really don't like it. I mean, it's such a powerful tool that I obviously keep using it, but I'm not a big fan of it visually. Yeah, there are quirky little things about it that just seem very odd. Okay. So one thing is deciding how many, which I guess is to be expected by a generic engine. Yeah, I think that's right. And I guess maybe it makes sense to have this little hand that's animated. It's just the fact they don't like playing analog games on a computer that I'm projecting on their product. Yeah, possibly. It's very rare that I actually play games, like published games. I used to a little bit. I used to try to learn some games on this platform, but like now it's really just playtesting and prototyping. Okay, so 13, so we'll say 52, let's just say 15 each, so 60 cubes. The other thing is that you could have like 5s and 1s and 5s maybe. So if you need 60 value, we could do, like, let's say a player's starting setup was a 5 and a 5 and 8 single, 1 5 8 singles. So that's 4 5s and 32 singles or ones. Something like that should be fine. So I would think. So cards wise, let's say 24 cards. 14 millimeter cubes. It was going to be 60, 32, 36, maybe let's say 40 cubes. 40 cubes, maybe they could be different colors, maybe they could be different sizes, so I won't care too much about this right now. Tokens. VP tokens. Let's say, well, it's like the total number on these cards, maybe, and then subtract some number. I don't have a perfect. I know that when I took the game to BGGCon, we ran out of victory point tokens. Okay, so it's 12, 20, 28, 30, 40, 49, 49 plus 9 is 58. So I could probably do like 30 or so with ones and fives. Something like that. 30. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, one thing I was going to show you was where I landed on the rulebook for for ADRA HQ. So this is cool. The organization, Sharon at least, is going to be printing copies for the organization to try out for playtesting. So it sounds like they're going to print like 5 copies of the game and then hand it around. So it's already like it's going to be blind playtested or unguided playtested. So then I realized I really need to get the rulebook in shape. So we worked on this letter, wrote this little letter for the staff. I added a feedback survey. So there's a little QR code to that, because I assume they're going to print out the rules as well. Anyway, so there's a link to a survey, a suggested playtesting procedure. So I have 6 rounds for them to try, hopefully. That'd be amazing. And then I have rules of play. The main thing I wanted to do was update the layout and the structure of the rules and include some more visuals. It's not perfect. There are some things that may be left out,
Because now you know you can get a domain from Squarespace.
but it's a massive improvement to just the text version I would have sent instead.
For your middle school band camp.
And it kind of looks like a lot of rules, honestly.
Squarespace is how you make it happen.
It's a little bit long, but that's what the visuals do.
Offer code Make It Real for 10% off your domain.
Spreads things out.
Terms and conditions
And so really just the setup, it looks like a lot of text. It really does, but yeah, so a short, very short introduction here, some information about what the icons mean, what they represent, how they're related to the player characters. And then setup. It looks worse than it is, but I realized there were a few steps that we were kind of missing in the original rules. So place the HQ in the middle of the table, choose a character deck. And what I decided on was that because there could be 2-player games, I'm not going to add a solo mode right now, although I think there is going to be one eventually. I knew we didn't need it for playtesting. At least not yet. So 2 and 4 players, they end up using all the characters. But for a 3-player game, it's a little different. So you still have to, okay, so you still choose a character deck. Determine the active challenge card pool. This was something that I reworked a couple times because I realized that the only time this matters is when it's a 3-player game. And perhaps a solo game whenever that mode shows up. Then choose a difficulty setting. So there are multiple steps here in setup that could throw people off, I guess. Anyway, I feel like these little tables are pretty handy. Here is the setup for 4 players. It's kind of tiny, but I don't think it's horrible. And then we have the game start at the end of setup. And how gameplay works, if you cannot play. Here are the actions, just 2 action types. It's great. This, I wish, I was tempted to get rid of event cards just because of this little section in the rulebook. I still think event cards are interesting. Maybe even if they're not that interesting, I think they're a little bit important because they do give a touch of flexibility if somebody's not able to play cards onto the regular challenge cards. And they also just mix things up a little bit, so I think that's fine. And then this is the end of the turn, basically, and then the end of the game. So I think it really is, it's not a lot of information, it just kind of looks like a lot, which is unfortunate. And then I have these 2 appendices. One talks about the characters, the character abilities, and the other talks about what the event cards mean. So I feel pretty good about that. Well, that's what I sent them yesterday. And we'll see. We'll see what happens when they actually get to printing and playtesting. But very, very cool. Okay, Long Winter's Nap. I kind of wonder if rulebook tends to be necessary in the components list. I'm not actually sure about that. I'm going to ask, can you make me an image for a background banner? Make it look like autumn is transitioning into winter. Focus on colors. No need for details or shapes. Let's see what it does. Because I'd love to drop something just right up here behind, like in this whole area. Something that is not too vibrant, but it suggests that transition. I think it'd be kind of neat. Okay, that did not happen at all. Like, what? Maybe I need a new chat for this, because it did not get anywhere close. Me an image that is the size and shape of a Facebook banner. Make it what? Make it an abstracted version of autumn transitioning into winter. It should be mostly color. Nothing too bright and bold, as it's going to be background for some text. It should be mostly colors. And busy. Let's try. Hopefully a fresh chat will help here. Interesting. I don't understand why I got the dimensions wrong. I don't know. Let me try. Can rotate that. Grow it like this. Interesting. Not sure I love it. But it is kind of interesting. I guess I could lighten it. I mean, I can make some adjustments here. Does that do what I want it to do? Maybe? I'll try again. I don't even know how to prompt this. What if I ask it for a prompt to make a background banner image that suggests autumn transitioning into winter? It to be mostly color, no detail. It's going to sit behind text, so it can't be too busy. Can you write me a prompt to produce such an image? All right. Okay, I think it will be top to bottom. Oh, I was thinking top to bottom, but I guess it could be left to right as well. I think top to bottom would work better for the banner. Also, this is a massive waste of time. I should be doing some other stuff. But I wanted something eye-catching for the top of the sheet, I guess, so. Let's just see what it comes up with. Image for me. Okay, let's see what it does. It really likes this left to right thing. I know it was part of the prompt from left to right or top to bottom. It does seem like it's really do the same thing, but make the transition top to bottom of the banner. Let's see how it does. Like, that is super abstract. I mean, it's just a blur of color, which maybe is fine. Is that what I asked for? Kind of. This is interesting. I don't know. I'll throw it in here and see how it looks. I'm going to save some resources here. Because I do kind of like this. Like, in a way, I just don't like that it all moves to the center like a black hole. But here is the more recent one. Does show let me drop these to the bottom. I mean, that's kind of interesting. Is there a way to group them? Is there a way to fuse them? I guess so. I don't know. I think it's okay. Not exactly my dream, but maybe can work with it. Well, I think this also wants to be... I think it wants to give the space... it's a little bit odd that... Wait a minute, they're ungrew, okay. And kind of manage the oh, I need to put this back on top, kind of overlay. It mutes it a little bit, which I think is maybe good. And I do think it captures, sort of captures the fall into winter thing. So I think maybe that's fine. At least let's say it's good enough. I'm not sure I love this font right here. Something with serifs, probably. What? This is the what is it? Yeah, Allegrea.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning. When I say insurance, you say
I think I'm okay with this here.
insurance. Now when I say nationwide, you say is both. Nationwide. Nationwide. Your insurance and financial needs. Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation.
For I don't think this is probably not the tagline that I need, but let me add this stuff. Obviously, I can't do winter is coming. Hmm. I kind of want to do the F pattern on this one. I just had a thought for that. What would be... I'm going to ask Gemini, see if there are some decent ideas. Can you brainstorm... taglines for this game about prepping for the winter? Deep sleep challenge. Yeah, none of these are interesting. What would say? Hurry, scurry, and gather. Hurry, scurry, and gather the snow. The winter cold. I don't know. Is this so the winter is coming? I don't know. I don't think I should do that. Winter is coming. Hurry, scurry, and gather. Winter is coming. Oh, it's the first episode of the first season. Yikes. Is it weird to say winter approaches? As winter approaches. I don't know. Hurry, scurry, and gather. Winter approaches. Winter is near. I kind of like that. A little more archaic. It's a little more storytelly, right? Winter is near. Why aren't we going full on then? Winter draws nigh. Hurry, scurry, and gather. Winter is near. Or should we just casual style go with winter is on its way? I don't really like the added word count, but winter is on its way. I feel like has a slightly more casual mood, which might be okay. And it's also cute. I feel winter is on its way is a little cuter somehow. You know what I should put though? I think I should put a jumping mouse. Give me an image on a white background of this cartoonized jumping mouse gathering nuts and seeds in the same style we made the other mice. Let's see what it says. Not see what it says, see what it does. Okay. Long Winter's Nap is a quick auction and push your luck game. Players spend cubes to bid on cards with victory points. At the same time, you need to save enough cubes in autumn, in the autumn phase. In the autumn phase, players spend cubes to bid on cards with victory points. At the same time, meanwhile, right? Meanwhile, they need to save enough cubes to last through the winter phase. Let's see what it did. Take out the basket. These are not anthropomorphic animals. Remove the basket. Here's a rhyming version. Winter is about to start. Hurry, scurry, and gather smart. Careful, Francisco. Careful now. Too many good ideas and you're in danger territory. It's a little bit too much of a reach for me. I like it. I like the style, the intent behind it. As in, like, that's a nice little brainstorming moment. Yeah, winter is about to start. Hurry, scurry, and gather smart. You'd have to do something like that. Really close. Simplify the image. Remove the acorns gathered at the top of the image. Maybe that would help. Well, use freedom units. Okay, we lost it. Why does it do that? Like, what the heck? Let's start over. Make me an image of a jumping mouse gathering a few seeds and nuts on a white background. Make sure it is in the same cartoonized style as the previous images of mice. Let's see. I still haven't even really gotten to the important bits. Long Winter's Nap is a quick auction and push your luck game. In the autumn phase, players spend cubes to bid on cards with victory points. Meanwhile, they need to save enough cubes to last through the winter phase. That's not quite right, but we'll come back to it. There we go. There it is, Gemini. You did it. It took off the little tuft in the tail. I'm not sure why. Doesn't the fear of mice have a name? Or fear of small animals or something like that? Or fear of mice. Musophobia. Or is it musophobia? Fear of small animals. Oh. The intense, irrational fear of mice and rats. I wonder if it has a pronunciation guide. It does, but I wonder if it has... Well, I wouldn't be able to hear it anyway, I guess. These things usually do, right? Oh, interesting. This is quite an appeal. So Wikipedia being actually, you know, I still will discourage students from using Wikipedia, but all of us use it, right? So after nearly 25 years, Wikipedia is still the internet we promised, created by people, not by machines. It's not perfect, but it's not here to push a point of view. It's a really tricky thing. Like, I don't know who decides what ends up on Wikipedia pages and how all that stuff is navigated and negotiated. So many moments of controversy in the last few years. I haven't gone to like look myself to see how some of the site the pages capture these moments, but that would be interesting. Anyway, not important. I thought I dropped the picture in here. There it is. Remove a little background. it's stuff like this. I don't have any real rules of thumb. You know, so it's kind of what makes me feel like I really don't know how to design, how to do graphic design. Like, I don't know where this mouse should go or what it should be doing. Should be standing over here? No. Should I flip it and put it over here? Like this? Make it a little bigger? It's kind of weird that it's like overlapping and not completely on it, right? Should I do this? I kind of like this for some reason. Like kind of standing right on the edge gives it a little 3D effect, kind of. Its ear covers that. But that's kind of interesting, right? Ooh, careful, can make it a little bigger. And I feel like there's not enough contrast somehow. Like, is that interesting? This dead space, I'm not sure that's great, but maybe it's fine. Just let the thing breathe a little bit. Question, do cell sheets always have the player count, time, age on the top left? No. That's because I would actually do something more like hero image, title, and subhead, count, time, age. No, they don't. I just figured that, like, you would just do this. Like, you would just do a big, something like that. It just seems like a kind of throwaway area, and maybe it's because I've tried to squeeze so much into different stuff and like onto these pages. I just got kind of used to it. Hero image, title, and subtitle. What if I made the mouse giant? Is this scary? Using the the mouse like coiled up like this, you feel like is better. Interesting, yeah. I could buy that. Where do I have these? I think it might be here somewhere. I saw, like, this is already a card. It wasn't this one anyway. That's a good point. Maybe I... Yeah, I think that's true. Now do a little background removal here. Hello? That didn't do anything? Am I just erasing everything? Oh. It removed as if there was no cropping. So I wonder if it'll read it a little better if I do this. Yikes. No. Reset. How do I do this? Yeah, I don't want the eraser. Yeah, it really wants to keep that edge. Actually, maybe if I save it. I think if I save it and crop it outside of Canva, that would do the trick. If I can find it. Yeah, it looks like I can do it. Whoops. Oh, this isn't it. Okay, now it should behave a little better with the... did it upload it? No. Okay. So this gets shrunk down quite a bit if it takes up that much space. That is very cute. Center these two together. Is that cute? I would bleed the nest off the edge some. You mean over there? Like that? Too much? Yeah, see, I don't really have an eye for this. Yeah, that's kind of nice. Oh, cool. Yeah, cool ideas. So I think now, yeah, thanks for those suggestions. Let's see what I can do in a short amount of time. Yeah, this little guy can just be somewhere hanging out. It's a fast-playing auction and push your luck game. In the autumn phase, players spend cubes to bid on cards with victory points. Meanwhile, they need to save enough cubes. Maybe have those main stats side by side above the title instead of stacked. Like up here in the middle. Does that look too busy now? I guess the logo doesn't need to be up there. I don't know, I kind of like it. Try them as white. In the same place? Try it as white. Maybe I don't need this this border. I'm not too sure. Is it like not dark enough? It looks like I can't change. Yeah, I don't know if I have control over the color of these objects. This one I do. What about this one? Okay. Oh, yeah. What? Right in the center, okay. Two spread out? The min, what happened to the min? Cool. It's a good spread, just down a bit to align with your contact. Try the contact info white as well. Should this be the middle? The contact is a little bit hard to read in this case. Maybe a little more. No, that's line spacing, not letter spacing. I kind of like that. Make sure that these two are aligned. Okay, they are. Now this feels slightly off to me somehow, but I don't know why. That looks cool. Wait a second, what happened here? Oh, that's where the darkness is coming from. Okay, hang on. Let me edit that. Maybe I can make this. Wait a second. Huh. What's going on? What happened here? Reset. Oh, this is a transparency thing. Also might be the font that's working against me a little bit there. Anyway, contact info, not super important because they're getting an email anyway. That's cool, Francisco. Thanks for that input. I'm going to spend some more time on this. I know I need to get a lot of grading done today. That is a priority for sure. I don't love this. In the autumn phase, players spend cubes to gather victory points. Bid, and what happened? Players bid for victory points. Meanwhile, they need to save enough bid energy cubes for victory points. To protect their victory points. Through the winter phase. Unpredictable winter phase. Long winter's nap. What? Should I go all in on Alice? In the winter phase, Long Winter's Nap is a fast-playing auction and push your luck game. In the autumn phase, players bid energy cubes for victory points. In the winter phase, players discard energy cubes to protect their victory points. When spring arrives, the player with the most victory points is the winner. It's the perfect blend of simplicity and tension. Is that too much detail? Is that kind of an awkward amount of mechanical detail? I think it is the most important tension, definitely. Go get rid of that. During the autumn phase, during the winter phase. Oops. What? I feel like this is too much. I feel like it's too much text. Like, who's gonna read that? I feel like nobody. Let's see what Gemini can do with this. Long Winter's Nap is a bidding resource manager. What? Where victory is split into two phases. The autumn phase, players bid scarce energy cubes to claim valuable VP discs. The winter phase then demands survivors to pay harsh costs using either cubes or discs. This doesn't really save on words either. Hmm. Hmm. Players manage the uncertainty of the seasons as they bid on victory points in the autumn phase and use that same currency to protect their victory points in the harsh winter phase. Hmm. Um, Bid aggressively and hope spring arrives quickly, or bid conservatively to prepare for a long winter. Players manage the uncertainty. Hmm. Okay. So I think what I can do now is try for these try for these two tiers, having the autumn phase. I can even borrow some color. What happens if I... Yeah. If I just take a shape here. And do something like this. Move it to the back. Oops. Even though I know it's necessary to success the product. I don't know. I think every phase is like kind of it presents its own little interesting challenges. It's these details I get caught up in that drive me nuts. And like I don't know sometimes like the right direction to go and stuff. That's why it's cool to get support from different directions. Like if you haven't seen Francisco's work, it's worth looking at. It's like he did a really good job with Junkyard Juggernauts. And in particular, I've pointed out the rulebook before. I thought the rulebook was really well done. Here's the funny thing about all this, Seth. It's the guy just asked for a link to a video. And now I'm caught up doing whatever this is. So, can't say it's a great use of time. Hopefully it pays off. We'll see. But this is something I actually try to teach my students. And it's not a perfect application for what I'm doing right now, but just realizing every opportunity is an opportunity to sell. It's an opportunity to sell myself, to pitch myself. And I think going the extra mile when I have the opportunity is like a big deal. So even though this may be unnecessary, it's good practice for me. And I think it could elevate the impression, elevate the game itself. That's my expectation. If it's a waste of time, as in if the game doesn't get picked up or whatever, I still feel like there's value to practicing these skills and like trying to figure out like why did Francisco make these choices? Why do they work? I'm trying to understand that kind of stuff. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, respect the focus and dedication of doing something you maybe don't enjoy. I just don't have that. I give up on the stuff I don't like doing. Well, there's something about this that I think is pretty cool. So it's not quite precise to say that I don't enjoy this. I think there are things about it that I think are cool, like puzzles. I end up having an opinion, but it's not necessarily informed. But yeah, I mean, I think this has to be something we develop if we're actually going to get our games published. It's like learning these steps, learning to deal with the grind of it. And I think that's where it's fine if you know not ours as in yours and mine, but like if designers' goals are different. I mean, some people they don't expect to publish. That's not the thing that they're interested in. And I mean, for me, it's really important. So I really want to get better at this stuff. Yeah. So this will be a very different... This is going to be a super different layout from what I did for Sugar Shack, I think. I am going to step away and eat pretty soon. I just jumped right in here before having breakfast. If you want me to talk about why I think those heading choices work, I can go into that now. Now it's totally fine. I don't need to rush away. Yeah, that'd be cool. Also, I don't know about the grayness here. Maybe there is some different coloration that would be helpful. I just don't. I don't really want to like reprompt Gemini right now, but maybe it's working fine. I do wish there was that. What is that like? Like I wish that these images could displace the words, and instead of being able to do that, I just have to. This doesn't have to be this big. Did we? I know in. I could do that. It does it in Google Docs. That was the thing I didn't realize in Google Docs for a while. I don't remember it in Canva. Let me see. Yeah, I think it was Google Docs, but let me see. It might Canva. It's called, I guess it would be text wrapping. As there isn't a single. Yeah, I kind of don't think there is text wrapping, because that's not what we're talking about. Clipping masks, not quite right either. Okay, yeah. Definitely it was in Docs that I was shocked. Like, how did I miss this? And it's because the view that I used. I was using Pageless, and you cannot do it in Pageless. You can do it in the view where you see pages, or in the page setup where there are pages. I mean, dominant image in the upper left is best for targeting languages that read left to right, as your eye goes to that first and then continue reading to the right. However, the title and subhead a different color, then the player count helps. So let's see, title carry more visual weight. I like that. Putting it higher in the visual hierarchy. Yeah, I like that a lot. Like, this should stand out, whereas it's okay if people have to investigate for this. That makes sense to me. Maybe components doesn't need to be so high here. And maybe that's what gives us room for the mouse. And then I can do something like, actually I might be able to move it down here. So here we have the autumn phase. What if I center this? What about another strip of color, but lighter? Is this kind of dorky looking? Okay, exactly though, it might need to be more punctuated or different audience. Like if you are pitching, maybe you want those core stat icons to be a little easier to see, so maybe make them black or the dark gray of the mouse, and then the title is the dark orange red of the leaves in the coiled mouse image. So you would go further. You would take these colors in a different direction. I kind of want this. Huh. This would achieve more of the F style if I put it over here, right? Make this a little bit bigger. Center these things. That's not what I meant to do, but that's cool. Ooh, I have an idea. Oh, I think I need the Winter Arrives card too. Okay, what's the corner rounding here? It's at 9. 1. So these 4 need to be distributed. You know, another thing I'm thinking about is how it's in building this kind of stuff that I think I get more clarity on what the game's really about. Like having to represent what really matters about it, having to show that visually and layout and color and choosing like really tough word choices. I feel like it helps me sharpen my understanding of what the game is in its essence. So I think that's another reason it's really exciting to kind of figure out how to represent it and boil it down. And in doing that, I think I learn more about it. It's like the cool little cycle. Like which cards to show. Like that's a really interesting problem. You know, I think it's fairly obvious because there are only, you know, a certain number of cards in the game, which makes it nice. Does this need to be bold? Yeah, I guess so. So now here's a cool challenge of figuring out where this text should go, or what it should look like. So bid on victory points. I'll shrink this down for sure. Because this is darker, then I can lighten this text, right? Does that make sense? Big bid on victory points. Square. Oops. This could be a red. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Make it maybe more of a little bit of a rustier red. Okay. I don't know what to call this here. Should it be just the bidding currency? Because they don't really know. That's too many words. But maybe it's okay. Some VP I was gonna switch. I think I was gonna switch these two. Some of the problem is I never know how long this stuff is gonna take. You know, use energy to bid on victory points. Use. I feel like I'd have to say. That's true. Do I need to refer to components here? I feel like I do. I'm going to do that first, and then I might reduce it again. But use energy cubes to bid for victory point tokens. What is this? This is 0. Is this layout going to be irritating? That you're going to be like bouncing, your eyes going to be bouncing up and down? Maybe, right? Actually, this is going to be over here anyway. I don't love... Let me see about this, actually. Okay. Wait, these are not centered, right? Not for that amount of balancing. Oh, that amount of text. Got it. Okay, I'll try it. This is actually good that it's four cards because of the little transition I'll be able to pull off from the Winter Arrives card. I'm excited about that. Oh, right. Does Autumn Phase have enough room to breathe? I'm not sure it does. Use energy cubes to bid for to peek at a winter card. Use energy cubes to bid. Ooh, that's very awkward, but that's what it means. Like, that's what I want to say. Okay, use energy cubes to bid. Win the bid. Not sure you need the yellow band. Maybe extend the orange up to cover the yellow, and then make autumn phase the same yellow color you just covered. Isn't it nice to sort of separate? Isn't it? You mean like this? Like that? Let's see what this looks like. What do you think? I mean, I kind of feel like there's just not, it's not breathing enough. But also, it just might not be that great of an idea. A little more space. Seems good. Yeah, it looks weird. Maybe the color's wrong too. Not too sure. It's too hard to read. Yeah. Also, maybe moving it in a little bit so it doesn't kind of get lost on the edge over here. I don't know. It's so goofy, all these details. I feel like this should be a little darker too, maybe. I have a feeling I'm really gonna like it when we transition to the cooler winter colors. I got a feeling. Is he better right here? I think so, maybe, huh? Use energy cubes to bid for victory point tokens. Win this bid to peak at a winter card. Yes. Is that scary? Is that what is that the feeling you get with that little eye right there? It's the next line. Oh. The timing of that was impeccable. Is this centered? It's not centered anymore, right? I mean, it's not in the middle. Such is the nature of Twitch. So Seth, I have a no. Seth, I have a question for you, and that is related to an event that we're starting to work on. And this is the Valentine's. I don't know if you've heard me mention it, but it's a Valentine's concept where we'll do like a mystery dinner theater. Question is, would you rather be somebody who works on the story and does like the writing and maybe some of the acting and stuff, or would you rather be the kind of person who is a participant? Which would you prefer? So the big we're thinking of doing like a kind of mobster Prohibition era story. And, you know, some crime takes place. We're having dinner. There'll probably be some... I'm going to recruit some of my swing dancing friends. We'll have some swing dancing music going, you know, throughout the night. Anyway, so like a story with some escalating action and some fun intrigue. And, you know, you're kind of figuring out who to trust and how to group up to, like, put the right people in power and stuff like that. So I've recruited like Roxanne, another friend Brandon, I think you know Brandon, and then another guy, Alfred. I imagine you know Alfred. Rather be an audience member, yeah. I think that's right. I think some people it's probably better just to like just enjoy the show, participate, but be like an active audience member, like an invested audience member. I think that's a lot. That's valuable too. Yeah. Win this bid to peek at a winter card. Choose to convert some VP back into the bidding back into energy cubes. Do you need more cast? I think we'll be fine. So Ming is always about like large scale mass stuff. For me, I much prefer smaller scale, more intimate, more intense. And so I imagine probably 5 to 7 characters with like different little parts, but nothing intense, like probably just reading monologues or doing like having little bits or like little dramatic entrances and stuff, but like nothing crazy. So I would like a kind of small box theater style, dark, you know, circular tables, dance floor, kind of thing. 5 to 7 characters. How many audience? I think we're planning on 30. Well, Ming keeps saying 50 people. I'm saying like 35 to 45. I guess 45 gets close to 50. But I would rather experiment, keep it small. He's done these before, but I'm thinking of a pretty different style from what he's done in the past. So anyway, it's yet to be seen what we'll be able to pull off. But this would be for like Valentine's Day itself, like an evening at the theater kind of a thing. But yeah, we'll be writing the story and the monologues and stuff like that. Building out the puzzles and clues. It's really interesting because we were texting about it last night, and it's a cool problem. Like, which direction do you really lean into? Do you go more like LARP style, like the story develops as it goes, you give players different intentions and motives and stuff, and then players kind of figure out and build the story at the same time, like they figure out what's going on that we've set up, but also they make decisions, and then we would like react to their decisions potentially? Or do you make it more of like an escape room puzzle where there is a definite solution and it's more about picking up clues and solving riddles? I think certain moments would be scripted, and then the actors would have opportunities. Like, so for example, if let's say we have dinner and then we have a few minutes to dance. People get up, they dance around, have a good time. It might be like we just ask the players, we ask the actors to a couple people break into a fight, and so they can sort of just manage that scene however they want and deal with it. Whereas we'd have a couple paragraphs of a monologue ready, or a narrator in the background moving the story along, something like that. I think it'd be a little bit of both. Probably slightly more script than improv, though. I would guess. Anticipate the arrival of winter. Of the winter phase. This is turning into one of my longer streams. It's almost 3 hours. What the heck? Been fairly, but I feel pretty good about this. I also like just getting rid of these things. For the layout, I always hated the 1 is lower left, 2 is upper right layout in comics. It confused me, and I always messed up the natural flow. Honestly, you know what? I haven't looked at comic books in a long time, but I really wonder if being confused by the layout was part of why I bounced off of comics. Because I can't tell how to read them. I really have a hard time with that. Step, but that's my feedback on it. So, okay, for the layout, I always hated the 1 is lower left. So where is that happening? Is what happening? Okay, yeah, got it. So 1 is lower left. In the autumn deck. YouTube is struggling. It's definitely in and out. The laptop is managing okay, seems like. So here's one thing I don't really know. So mechanically, this probably doesn't make sense. Maybe, oh, you know what? I think I need to show the layout somewhere, like the full setup of the game. I should maybe put that somewhere. Keep falling behind the stream. It was the blue box you just deleted. Okay. Where was the blue box? Was it down here somewhere? Yeah, this one is going to be very, very straightforward, I think, this structure here. Because now I'm going to drop in the winter phase down here. Winter phase, probably center off of that text. Change the colors. This would be like something like this. I wonder if I should grab colors from here. Oops. Why is it doing that? Okay. Okay, crazy idea. Francisco, do we have time for crazy ideas? I wonder why it's hanging off the edge like that. That's weird. Okay, I'm ready. Autumn phase, winter phase. Okay, I think move the mouse eating down to be a visual bridge, like down here. Between autumn and winter, then have the description span the page width, buying you some vertical space. I think you can move the yellow box up. More breathing room for autumn phase. Okay, I buy that. I think let's see, where does it go? I can shrink this line spacing a little bit. Because I probably want a similar amount of space for winter then, right? So let me just leave that there and move everything up. Figure out how this bridge is going to work. He's not going to sit in the middle though. I guess it could be smaller. We'll have to flip where the autumn descriptions are though. Let's see. I think move the mouse eating down to be a visual bridge between autumn and winter. Then have the descriptions span the page width, buying you some vertical space. I think to move the yellow box up and more breathing room for autumn phase. Okay, have to flip where the autumn descriptors are though. What do you mean? Do you mean this? Wait. Yeah, I'm not sure I follow. You mean like this? Right? So that the mouse is... Yeah, I could see that. Huh. I think it'd be kind of rough to start with the one on the far left at the bottom though, right? Like, would this be a problem? Well, yes, like... Is this a problem though? And then down. And then the other one down and then up and then down. Wait, like this or not like this? It does give this guy a good amount of space though. I do like it. I don't really like how he blends in here though. Are you okay with cards not being aligned? I do like how things are going right now. Let's see about this. Yeah. No, I think you're right though. I think you're right on the call with the mouse doing the work for the transition somehow. Yeah, but I do think this is much stronger. Just the way that these, yeah, that these need to sit. Uh-oh, careful. The mouse is not in the middle of the sheet, is he? Now we're getting crazy. Now we're getting wild. We're letting loose a little bit here. Oops. Do we hate this or not hate this? If he's a little smaller. I don't know. Kind of like him. Send him to the side. Yeah, I think that's good. Uh-oh. It is a little weird. I mean, he could be down here. I just want him to be standing on something. So if he's standing on the components, maybe that's okay. Right, but I do think he should be standing somewhere. Let me see what this looks like. It's a little busy. Shall have to fight it out. One man has a sword, the other has a crown. Who will win? Get him. Why? That shrink. Okay, I don't hate this. I don't hate what's happening right here. Get rulebook out of there. Emo battle, I like your style. Oh man. Very spicy over here. Isn't this cute with him standing on the components? Or could the mouse be standing on that image of the game setup you mentioned? Could be. Super. Well, the way this is looking, this could kind of slide up here. That's right. I feel we might be living a little bit on the edge here, but it's not bad. I feel like it's not bad. I feel like that's not bad. Anyway, it's a fun little detail, this little mouse. I really like him. I want to preserve him. Pew pew! What is this lightsaber style thing? What is that? A Sir Sword. And then pew pew pew. Pew pew pew. How goes the conflict? Oh, bummer. I'm gonna go take a quick nap. Good. Thank you for this stream. Okay. Thanks so much for your input, Francisco. Really appreciate that. Enjoy your rest. Wait, what font is this? Oh, it is Alice. Also Alice. I don't even know where to find emotes. Yeah, I think visually this is coming together in a really interesting way. Certainly has the F shape happening. Very nice. Or something. It's an E shape, I guess. And discard energy cubes or VP tokens until spring arrives. I think I'm going to add the other really expensive, this guy. Okay. I think it was 9, right? Okay. Not sure about fitting in the layout actually. Left to right. So I can still do a little bit of this staggered thing. So reveal winter cards left to right. Let me do this instead. Discard energy cubes or VP tokens. Copy this guy. until spring arrives. Get rid of this, then I might be able to work in like just a small, very small version of it. Let me see if this looks good. Okay, let's try to go with this. I like how clean it looks, honestly. I think it's not bad. I'm sure it could be better, but like this I think is working. Okay, and I can kind of shift this around a little bit. So I'm gonna take the, where are these cards? Okay, so we'll drop in some cards. I think did that come in? Okay. The winter deck. Oh. It's uploading it, I guess. And then we need some cubes. Some green cubes. Okay. Give it just a tiny, smaller than that now. Something smaller than that. Getting close. This is the final stretch. I do believe this is the final stretch. This too. So we get the winter. We get these coming out here. Get 5 of these. I don't think you can have like a partial line, right? I doubt it. Oh, hello. Okay, and then we just have a bunch of cubes. These little guys. I don't know if it's my connection. It doesn't seem to be my connection, but something is slowing all this stuff down. I wonder if it's a resource problem. Also looks like it cannot go smaller than that. Yes, it can. Can't flip. I'm pretty sure I can't flip that. That's okay. I'm just gonna shift some of them like over here. A few of them up here. Can we get a little piles? Hmm. I guess I should drop this down into the center, probably. Just do a 4-player game. Guess I don't technically need this much space, it looks like. So I can kind of shrink down, move to the side. That will allow me to get a little more space here. Seems like a good idea. This guy can even move into the center, move this way just a little bit. Is that weird? All right, what do we see here? Maybe I could... Maybe I do need just a little bit of text over here. Run around the corners a little bit. Oops. Okay, let's see what we've got. Long Winter's Nap. Should this be a different color? Maybe a tan. Slightly lighter than that. No, it's a little bit weird. Maybe slight gray to it though. I think that actually works. Okay, I'm gonna download this, open it up, and have a look. Let's make it a PDF. Wow, winter music. Oh, it's almost over. Okay, this is what we've got. Long Winter's Nap is a fast-playing auction and push-your-luck game. Players manage the uncertainty of the seasons as they bid on victory points in the autumn phase and use that same currency to protect their victory points in the harsh winter phase. It's a perfect blend of simplicity and tension. Autumn phase. Use energy cubes to bid for victory point tokens. Win this bid to peek at a winter card. Choose to convert some victory points back into energy cubes just in case. Anticipate the arrival of the winter phase. Winter phase. Reveal winter cards left to right until spring arrives. And discard. So I think that is not going to be awesome, but I think it doesn't super matter. And discard energy cubes or victory point tokens until spring arrives. Yeah, I wish there was a way to direct attention a little better here. It's interesting when Canva makes a PDF, it feels like the sizing comes out oddly. But maybe that's just because like it actually was off in that case. Do I like the setup? Or should it be layout? Yeah, I think it's nice to have that over here. I also don't like where this is sitting. Hmm. Maybe this is okay. Until spring arrives. I feel like that reads a little better. This empty space is a little bit odd. Maybe this should come down here. No. What's a better arrow shape for flipping something? Arrow to flip. Is that a thing? I kind of like the hand-drawn style, honestly. But let's see what this looks like. It looks kind of dumb. It also might just be partly because of that giant arrow, the arrowhead right there. This one might not be bad. Still not doing exactly what I want. I don't think I love this chalky style. That's awesome, but I also am sort of done with this. Can try this. And then maybe be finished. I like that. It's close enough. Okay. All right, I think I'm gonna go with this. I'll do a PDF first, and then I'll do an image. It's open. Okay, here it is in PDF form. Excuse me. Yeah, I feel good about this. Whew. Let's send it. And I'll make an image just to post to Discord. There's this long winter's nap. Here's a cell sheet. I wonder if this works still. It might. Okay, very fun. Wow, okay, I think this was a record-setting stream for me. 3.5 hours. I really have a bunch of grading to do. but I appreciate you for sticking around. Looking forward to more tomorrow, and not Saturday, but the next day and the next day and the next day. Anyway, thanks so much for your input. Thanks for hanging out with me, and yeah, that's it for today. I will see you soon. Good stuff. Thanks, Seth. I'll see you later.